just so you know, it takes about 4 to 5 years to completely blend two families cohesively together. So you have to parent every child differently. You can't parent every single child the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially the older one. You know, like I'm going to sit him down and, you know, he's 18 and I'm like, look, you know that this is not the correct behavior, right?
Yeah.
You will never emulate this. You will never treat a girl like this. You never yell.
Yeah.
You know, and I do that for DJ too, even though I'm the stepmom.
Welcome back to the Got Her Back podcast.
Hi.
Happy Monday.
Yeah.
It's Got Her Back Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on new with you, Meggie?
Oh, you know, working on listing in my house.
Getting your house ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing, I despise moving.
I will be letting Courtney head that up.
Yeah, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's
and
incredible.
Then I will be getting movers when
That's
it's time.
exciting.
I know.
Like, don't you feel like it's like leaving the final little thing behind? Like, that's how I felt whenever I left my house. I was just kind of like,
It's a fresh start.
yeah, it was just like a little, you know, fresh start, and it felt really good.
Yeah, I think it's like finally closing the chapter. It's like it never feels good going into your home and feeling like you're still like
you're
captive.
still kind of in there.
Yeah.
And like memories and just, I don't know.
Yes.
Y'all moved into that house together, and
Yeah.
a lot of things have happened in that house, and this house is perfect for you, and I can't wait
I'll sage it for the new
to
people.
party. I'm trying to think of what kind of big party can we have first?
I was just trying to be like you and get behind the gate, girl.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah. Well, what are we talking about today? Blending families. This is a really big one.
It
and
is. We've both been through this.
It's kind of a lot harder than you would think, I feel like. And one thing about blending families, whether it's just getting married or particularly what I'm talking about is like children involved and, you know, blending the two together, you know, it's a lot harder than you would think.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people have this unrealistic expectation of like, oh, it's going to be perfect and we're just going to be one big happy family.
Yeah.
And it's not really the case. In fact, one time in one of my therapy sessions, the counselor was like, well, just so you know, it takes about 4 to 5 years to completely blend two families cohesively together. So the
Depends on the kids' ages.
I'm pretty sure, but she says no matter what, like that's a good little marker is like around that 4 years. And I'm like,
and it doesn't have to be that way. Like I think with the little ones, they just like accept, like it's like a shiny new
little
object.
ones adapt a lot quicker. For sure. But I mean, even looking back on my marriage, my past marriage, and you know, he didn't have a child, only I had a child, and that was still very hard.
Did he not have a child, or did he have a child and you just didn't know?
I mean, I don't know.
I think he had a child.
Only the Lord knows.
And you just didn't know.
That's a whole nother subject, Megan.
Oh, you know.
But I don't know, like, even though it was just my child, that was extremely hard. You know, I never felt like their relationship jived at all. I never felt like my child was accepted. He always kind of felt like the odd man out, especially when we had children. It just never blended. And that was a many, I mean, since Brylan was like 5 years old and into like him graduating high school. And I mean, that's a long stretch, and it never happened, you know?
Yeah, because I think you were dealing with a narcissist. You know what I mean? Like he had zero empathy. He had zero empathy for Brylan. He had zero empathy for you as a mother. Like that was your child and he didn't accept him and he didn't forge a relationship. You know, I had the opposite of that because DJ came into my life, same age, 6. And I, because I had been raised by my stepdad my whole life. And, you know, after mom died and me and Stephanie were like 11 and 15, raised by a single dad, like that's tough work. And so I just knew like what an impact a step parent can make. Like you don't have to be blood in order to be a parent.
Mine was a little bit of the opposite coming into my relationship now, like entering into more of a step parent role. The only thing that I had to look, I had different examples. I mean, my parents have been married multiple times. So I had lots of experience with different stepmoms through the years and different versions of that come and go, and girlfriends and different things. So I always knew what I didn't want to do. And I knew what I wanted to do. Like I had a great stepfather, not so good of stepmothers. I did have one good experience with his last wife. I had a really great experience with her. I mean, we definitely had, things here and there, but I had a great experience with her. But going into this with, my relationship now with his, it was just like, I just knew what I didn't want to do. There was even little things, that a stepmother that I had would do. Like she would buy food for her kids and label them with her kids' names. And we weren't allowed to touch, specific things. And I kind of understand that. Maybe like if that was like for allergies or lunches or maybe certain things, but I think you would also need those same things for the other children. So everything that I do, I try to do through, if I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to do for all of them. Exactly. Right. So if I text one, are you hungry, on my way home, I shoot them all three the same message, just to make sure like everybody, like I'm not going to bring something in for my children and not for his child. Yeah. Basically.
I mean, that's being a good step parent is being, forging a relationship. You have empathy, you know how to create relationships, you know how to create bonds. And I think, it's the same thing. Like, when I was with DJ, I sat him down, pretty early on and told him like, hey, you have a mom. I'm never going to take the place of your mom. I don't want to take the place of your mom, but I can be a great, person for you to come to. I can be a great outlet for you. And I love my relationship with DJ, even though, him and me and his dad are not together anymore. We still talk. We still talk on the phone. He calls me on holidays and birthdays, and he came for Taryn's. So nothing has changed. Honestly, I think our relationships got even a little bit better since the divorce. He makes effort, I make effort. And so it's just nice.
It's interesting that you say that because I've heard Gabriel on several occasions tell Kason and Maddie that like, I'm not trying to fill that role for you. I'll never replace your dad. Like you have a dad, I'm just here for you if you need anything, so just let me know what you need. So I have heard that like many times. And I think that's a good thing to say to the children is like, I'm not trying to step on their toes. I'm not trying to be that person, but I'll be a person for you if you need anything.
And when they come to you, like I always knew like DJ and I had a bond, like, I would take him, clothes shopping or try to do our part when he would come to see us. And, like you say, just like on the food, same thing. Like when I saved for my kids' college, I saved for DJ's college, when I did for my kids, I did for DJ. DJ is one of my kids, just like my own two kids are. I have 3 kids, and DJ is included in that and will always be included in that no matter if I'm married to his dad or not, like nothing's going to change that. And it was nice to hear after the divorce, like that he clearly still wants me in his life and that 20-year bond is not going to be broken. And so that was great. And but I've seen the other side of it, when my dad married crazy Gloria in my senior year and she had a daughter and we tried to blend when we were teenagers, kind of like what you're facing now. It's different when they're that age, like her daughter was crazy. She would get in fights at school. She was stealing clothes out of my closet. She pulled a bat and tried
more issues.
She tried to hit my sister and she tried to hit dad in the face, and Stephanie got in between. It was a wreck. It was just a mess, and they only lasted a year and a half before they got a divorce. They ended up getting back together later, but it was a wreck. And I know a lot of that was because us kids didn't get along.
Yeah.
But he also knew her 6 weeks before he freaking married her.
6 weeks?
6 weeks.
That sounds like Dino. That sounds like Dino.
Yep.
So one thing that you can do is just prioritize like your relationship, like the actual relationship, like the two adults. And that's like something that we try to do every single night is like we sit outside whenever I get home and like basically like debrief the day, what's going on with this kid. We kind of like go down the line of like our day, my day, his day, and then anything going on with the kids, our schedules, and just try to like be on the same page as much as we can, because there's so many like practices. And
your board is amazing that you made. You've talked about it a little bit, but like your schedule.
The board is awesome.
The dry erase board.
The group messages and the boards and things like that we have. We have this massive like boards in our hallway, and every kid has their own color. And we're even thinking about now, like, because my children's dad isn't following the proper schedule, really. Like, there's no
just call it for what it is. He's not.
There's no consistency
He's
at
getting
all.
them like once every 6 months.
And so what we do now is we are putting, we're toying around with like putting that on their schedule and their colors. Like, this is his, weekend or whatever. That way, if he does message and say, hey, I'm going to come get you or whatever, if it's not that one, you need to figure out what we have planned. Like, it can't step on because it's messing with our
family plans,
planning and everything that we plan every single month and everything. It's kind of can mess that up sometimes. So we've decided we're going to say, this is it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Beyond that, come and talk to us and make sure we don't have a family member coming to stay or your cousins coming to stay or something that we have planned and aligning with other family members, or trips or whatever that may be. You know what I mean? So certain things that we figure out that we have to do along the way.
Yeah.
And then we have several group messages. We have group messages with the adult kids. We have group messages as a whole. Like, we have a Life 360 with everybody.
Look at how your life has changed. You now have communication with your partner. You have someone that actually like backs you up. And like, if you're stuck at work, Gabe goes and takes Maddie to cheer or picks her up or goes and takes Case into the park or does, takes O to dance.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah. I mean, y'all are like all over the board, but it's just nice that you have a partner that's willing to do that.
Extremely nice.
Pick up the slack.
He's an awesome provider and a good listener, and he just like, we just tag, it's just about that's what we do every single night. It's like, well, what does your day look like tomorrow? That's basically like a question every single night, and then talking about it like, oh, we're recording, or we had this or we had that, so that's like super important, communicating and trying to keep everybody in line, and like which one's messing up right now and which one's stepping up right now, and can we motivate them better, like all of the above is really important. But also, I think one thing that we have kind of learned, and we've talked about it all along the way, but we're trying to acknowledge, is like, we all have our own bonds before this, and we all have our own like things and not traditions, but like our little things that we have with each other. And I think that you should still like honor those and still do those, you know what I mean? Yeah. So if, me and Maddie usually have like an ice cream day every week or whatever, like I still try to do that with her, or, whatever it may be. We still
nails done or whatever.
We still try to like hang on to those little things and have alone time with each kid. Like, I'll tell him like, you got to think about Olivia and Gabriel. Like, they were together. Just them two
for a long time.
Everywhere they went for years. And then we bombard you, you have to acknowledge that and try to carve out time with just you two without us. It's not going to hurt our feelings or anything, just to make sure that she's not feeling some type of way, even though she's never voiced that. Sometimes kids don't even know what they're feeling, you know what I mean? Or like,
they just, act out in different ways. Yeah. I mean, it's typical, when dad married mom, like he had 3 kids, 3 older children. Mom was like 20 years younger. So she was almost the age of his daughter. And, I was so young, like 2. And then, when the youngest of his 3 went to college, because the boys came to live with us, that was like, I remember it being a sad thing. So like it keeps tugging on my heartstrings because Taryn's going to go to college, in a month. And we're at like the 30-day mark. And I was Spencer's age when Shay went to college, and I remember crying and being so upset about it. And they've gotten really cute lately. Like the other day me and Spencer were leaving Taryn's room, and I was taking her to a party, and she's like, "Bye, Taryn. I love you." And I was just like, "You are the sweetest." And so he just laughs and loves when she tells him, and he tells her he loves her back. But it's so cute because they were like knocking heads. So I know it's going to affect her,
That's how Maddie was whenever Brylan left.
But as we got older and I was a teenager, here I was the baby of 5. So those older thought that I was so spoiled, and, our dad was just in a different place in life. He was older. He made more money. Like he probably didn't make the best decisions in his 20s. Maybe he did stuff out of anger, and out of spite and bitterness. And me and Stephanie saw a different dad than they did. And so I think it can cause some resentment. I think for the most part, a couple of them have worked through that. Maybe not a third, but
they say that the same children can be raised by the same 2 parents and have completely different upbringings than the other one. Even in the same house, the same parents, you can have different experiences and think of those parents completely different just because of experience, ages, where they are in their life. Are they in a like for me, like I got my parents in the thick of a toxic relationship, and so that's the version that I got. My oldest sister, she had a totally different upbringing and experience, and then my younger sister, she had a even totally different experience because my mom ended up getting remarried, and they ended up being more financially stable, and she has a whole different experience with my dad versus me. Like, it's just funny when you talk to siblings and they tell you how they feel about, that parent. And you're like, no. Let me tell you the truth, or let me tell you my experience. It's always so different. So that's interesting. It makes sense
because, I had Taryn at 29 and having Spencer at 43. I'm just a different parent. 29, I was still like a partier girl.
I was
married,
I mean, I had Brylan at 18. I was still very much a selfish teenager. I remember him only being a couple months old, me being like, here you go, keep him all weekend. I would never ever do that to Kason and Maddie as they were younger and growing up. That would never be a thought in my mind. And I'm still like love every second that I get with them. You know what I mean? So
I'm loving that, like just seeing that, now with Gabe and Brylan having a relationship, and Gabe does, makes the effort with Brylan. It was cute. I don't even know if I told you, just because sometimes Gabe texts, we have our group text, but every now and again, like I texted him yesterday, like, hey, if I get this house, can you help me with the
he was
lift
telling me last night.
Like, I'm stressed about it. And he's like,
he was like, I got perfect company I'll hook you up with. They'll do it all for you. But then
he texts me like on the side, I think you're at work or something, and was like, hey, can Brylan go with us to your birthday dinner? I'm like, of course, but I just thought it was cute that he wanted to include him.
They have a cute relationship, and I'm really thankful for that because he never received that.
This is something funny. It's totally off topic, but I just want to tell you this because, we went to Catch for my birthday, and you said I didn't even know what Catch was, and you made those plans. And today I got one of my renewals in the book that I just took over. I insure Catch.
Do you really?
Yeah, the renewals just came up. So I was
Can you go in there and tell them to quieten it down a little bit?
Yeah. I'm going to be like, I need to be on that VIP list now. I'm your insurance agent.
Yes.
Girl.
That reservation was hard to get. Yeah. That is really funny. That is really awesome. Funny. Oh my gosh. Let's see. What else do we got? Yeah, keeping the traditions, but also like building new traditions is really important too. So trying to find new things that you do each year, like for Christmas or whatever. Like the past 2 years, we all get matching pajamas or whatever. So, and family pictures, and just turning like some of these new things, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Memorial Day or 4th of July at your house. I feel like that's a tradition,
It's been our tradition. What are we going to do at the new house? We won't be able to, maybe we can see them at Grapevine Lake from the new house.
Hey, you never know.
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
We're partying at that house.
Yeah, we're partying. We'll make our own fireworks.
We'll do our own fireworks.
In the pond.
Yeah, but blending families is not easy.
No,
it's not an easy treat. And
it can or can't be.
But it's not going to be perfect. Like we idolize, we like fantasize,
well,
right?
I will tell you that with me and Sheris, with DJ, in 20 years, we got into maybe 2 disagreements in 20 years. And I can tell you what they were over. And we literally I'm clearly the more high strung one, go figure. She's the more calm one. But her and I, we talk all the time. We're business partners on a cabin. We, I got her something new, something blue, something borrowed, on her wedding day the last time. And she's more like family to me.
I remember the first time that y'all came in together to get your brows done in the beginning of our relationship when I met you, and y'all came in together and y'all were going to go to like a Beyonce concert. Or I don't remember what the concert was, but halfway through I was like, so how long y'all been friends? How did y'all meet? And you're like, oh, this is my husband's baby mama. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That I was like, wait, what? I was like watching my words, like, what is this? Like, and you were like, yeah, she's staying the night at our house tonight. And I was like, this is wild. I had never seen anything like that, but I love y'all's relationship. And that's what I was going to ask you too. Like, how, did y'all ever struggle with that portion of it?
No, I came in the picture 5 years after her and Darian had kind of broke up, and she was in a relationship and already had a child with her first husband. And so I remember very early on, maybe I had been dating Darian, I don't know, maybe a month, maybe some weeks at that point, and she'd kind of gotten to a rift with her first husband, and she called Darian and needed some help. And I was at Darian's apartment in Oklahoma City, and he was like, hey, I got to go to Tulsa and check on my son. Do you want to go with me? And I'm like, sure. So I just jumped in the car and went with him. And when we went over there, she came to the house, and it was an altercation, right? And she's got this little girl, and I remember just standing next to her, and I didn't know her, and I just said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but you're beautiful and you deserve better than this. And I don't know if that impacted her. I think probably, it did, but I just remember here it was all I knew was that she had a child, with the guy that I was dating, had no inkling that I was going to be with this person over a 20-year span, but I just think from that day forward, we were always, I think it probably was shocking for her looking back that Darian moved to Texas. He kind of moved and he moved and didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell. His brother knew. He didn't tell his mother. He hid it. He hid it from her. And so I know that was difficult for her, but that was something that they had to work out because he asked to move to Texas. It's not like I asked him to move to Texas. He woke up one day and said he didn't want to go home. So, I know that was hard for her looking back. And I probably, because me and her weren't as close then, I didn't really, it wasn't until years later when, I was the one that was the planner and made sure that we went home for all the baseball games and went home for the football games and the birthdays and the Christmases, and that we traveled together and that we spent holidays together. And that was great for a lot of years. I mean, a lot of years, and it worked well. And we got DJ all the way through high school, at least. And I think, to going kind of back to forging that bond, if you've got a bond, when DJ came to me and he was struggling with social anxiety, it ended up being social anxiety in college. And he came and lived with us for about a year and a half, which was really cool because we'd never, got to have him in our home. And I remember it was Father's Day of that year, and he knew that I struggled with anxiety, and he came to me and was just like, Megan, I need to talk to you. And Sheris kept saying something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with him. He won't tell me. And for him to open to me,
I think that's almost the cool part of being the step parent is I feel like they'll come to us with specific things that they're not sure how to come to the other person with, which is the goal. And I feel like you're a little insider voice for the other person. And you're almost the bridge between them that
to bridge the gap.
Gabriel and I have an agreement, if it's something that I feel like she's in danger or something like that, I need to come to him like within that 24 hours and like tell him, vice versa. Mm-hmm. But if it's something that she's talking to me about that's personal and girly and he doesn't know, you know, because she's confiding in me because I'm a woman or whatever, I'm not going to tell him because unless I feel like
he needs to know
something will, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to tell him, you know, if it's something she tells me, because she's going to tell me things that she maybe not tell him at this point, you know? And so sometimes I want to tell him because it's cute and it's funny and all that, but I also want her to understand and know that I'm not like going to blab every single detail to him, which is hard because he's like, you know, he's like my best friend. Mm-hmm. So we talk about everything. So I have to catch myself, be like, ooh, never mind. And then he'll be like, what? You know, and I'm like, never mind. Yeah. Like this is a girly thing, not really a dad thing right now. Right. And if it was, I would tell you. And he knows that enough now to know that I will tell him if that's the thing. But also I think I can be like a sounding board sometimes for her. Like, hey, this is the way that she's feeling. And, you know, kind of talk to him before she talks to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I think she's learning that too. So she uses that sometimes, but also she can vent to me too about specific things that she's dealing with or whatever. Cause we're like girls, right? And she's like, she'll be 17 this year. So I'm like, it's crazy.
I know. Sharis and I have had so many talks over the years, and really too, like in the separation, she was such a voice of reason for me, you know, and, she's like you, she'll text me just, you know, off the cuff and be like, hey, you know, like, you know, like I see you're growing. I'm proud of you. You know, I love you. And, you know, that means a lot. Like, cause I just know that like our friendship is true and real. And, what we've worked for 20 years is, you know, that meant something. It's a struggle now because I'm in a co-parenting relationship where I don't even know the other person, and I'm not sure that I ever will. And I've come to peace with that, and I'm okay with that. You know, Spencer seems to be super happy when she goes to her dad's, and I don't want to take that from her. And she seems to love, you know, Miss Lindsay, and I'm okay with that. You know, like as long as my daughter is treated good and fair and kind, and you love my kid like you love your own, I'm cool with that. Yeah, you know, like we don't have to have a friendship, but the fact that I did get to go through life, you know, for 20 years and create at least that friendship with Sharis and get DJ in the process and my kids made it all worth it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it can go either way, and you see it be so combative, and I get how it can be combative. Like I struggle to even communicate with Darian now. Like we knock heads. We're still both so emotional. We just can't communicate. Yeah. You know? Yet. Yeah.
Hopefully you'll get there. Yeah. One more thing about like blending families is I would say you have to let the other person parent the way that they are used to parenting. Right. You know what I mean? Like you can't just suddenly change that when you move in together and be like, well, this is how I do it, or this is how you should do it, or whatever. I think you have to let the people, let each other parent how you parent, and maybe give them advice on the side or whatever, or a little, you know, nudge or, you know, here and there. But I think you still have to allow that to continue on. You know what I mean? That was a big one in my past relationship, was like him trying to force me to parent a specific way. I'm like, that's not how me and my child roll. Like I know how to parent my child. And the crazy thing about parenting is like you have to parent every child differently. You can't parent every single child the same. You know what I mean? Like I could just raise my voice at Brylan and tell him how disappointed I was and stuff, and he would, you know, because he's more sensitive, where with Kason that's not going to work because he's
sensitive.
He's not sensitive at all. He's not sensitive at all. You can't hurt his feelings. You can't be, I mean, you can, but it's not near as easy as it is with Brylan. So you have to figure out like, oh, you're going to have to be punished or grounded or something taken away. You know what I mean? Right. Like they're all different. And then Maddie, I mean,
she's my spirit animal.
Hers is, you got to take away something, you know, take away TikTok or take away something that's going to be effective for her to be like, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or her not get to go to something that she had planned or something. So they're all different, and you got to let each other like do your own thing. Yeah. Don't you think?
I do.
You got any advice for the got her back world?
I would say that if you can, if you're in a step parent role, like make the bond, make the effort, take the time. But don't put that up before your kids. You know what I mean? Like you can't substitute the kids that you already have for the new ones that come along the way. You know what I mean? You have to treat everybody the same.
Yeah. That's the thing. You got to treat everybody the same.
Doesn't matter if they're your kids, their kids, all kids. Like
I try to rope in Haley and Brylan. You know what I mean? I want them to feel, I try to communicate with them every single day, even though they're adults and everything. I'm still want to check on you. I still want to know how you're doing, or when can I see you? I miss you. Can I do something for you, or can I make this meal for you? Or, it just might be something small like that Haley likes that I make, or Brylan likes that we make, or whatever. But something, you're still trying to rope them and loop them into the whole blend as well.
Right. Yeah. You've got to treat everybody the same. I think that's what in my divorce.
It's just got to be fair.
Yeah. Like I'm struggling the most with, because I'm seeing like relationships on the other side. It's not fair, and it's not, but I have zero control about that. And it's not my relationship.
You can only focus on yours. Right. And
as long as my relationship with my kids. And
as your kids get older, having those conversations and explaining, maybe what's right or wrong, or,
well, anytime anything negative happens, I'm always, especially the older one, like I'm going to sit him down and, he's 18 and I'm like, look, that this is not the correct behavior, right?
Yeah.
You will never emulate this. You will never treat a girl like this. You never yell.
Yeah.
And I do that for DJ too, even though I'm the stepmom, and I'm so proud because DJ has a girlfriend and they live together and they're so cute together. And you can just tell that he's like everything so that Sherris and I have, said to him, he's really taken to heart.
You're seeing it come into fruition, which is really cool.
And it's so cute to see their relationship.
Isn't that interesting? Like I was watching my first nephew get married last weekend, and I was just like, see him as a little kid, and you're like,
oh my God,
that's so weird. And how she reminds me of my sister, which is like super interesting. They look similar, they act similar. And I'm like, he chose his mom to a T, but in the best possible way. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better girl to be in our family. Like she already comes on our tradition, like girl stuff, and she blends right on in. She's really young, so Presley and them love her. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool, like seeing the adults like go into their, relationships, and then you got Brylan looking at me like, don't even think about looking my way.
I love DJ's girlfriend. Her name's Callie.
Yeah.
And she's something special. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool to see that everything that y'all have kind of been instilling.
And she's good
in
for
him.
DJ. You know what I mean? She keeps him social.
And it makes you feel good when you know they have a good woman. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of like, my work is done. Yeah. So I'm like wondering when Brylan's going to give me that, where I can be like, here you go. It's all yours, girl. Have fun with that. Yeah. You can be his, emotional support from now on. But, women just make men better. Yeah. Don't you think?
For sure.
And so for our boys, it's like such a good feeling. You're like, oh, he has someone that has his back. You know what I mean? Like day to day. Yeah. Taking care of him. Not taking care of him, but there for him and befriending him and, there if they need something. So that's what's kind of cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
Blending families.
Yeah. Ding. It's definitely a chore, but it's well worth it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We would love for you guys to follow us on our socials at Got Her Back Podcast.
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and then Inspired by Carrie.
Meg's Unfiltered.
Bye.
Bye.